Modern media calls the messy girl aesthetic liberating. Finally, we're allowed to have greasy hair, smudged eyeliner, and live in a state of curated chaos. But let's be real, this might be one of the most toxic trends of 2026. And while everyone is trying to sell you this vibe, I'm gonna talk about why it is a trap and what's wrong with it. Don't get me wrong, I much prefer messy girls over clean girls. I think they look way more interesting, more authentic. And living in London, I had privilege of seeing all these girls way before it became mainstream. I love the fact that I don't have to open Pinterest to see and to understand this trend, and instead it's just surrounding me everywhere, every day. I'm gonna use mostly British context, because who are the most iconic messy girls? Kate Moss, Amy Winehouse, Charli XCX, and so to me, messy girl equals London, messy girls equal Britain, and don't try to prove me wrong. Period. But here's the catch. Being a messy girl is a luxury of free time. Honestly, if I go to Canary Wharf or the city, I won't see a single one of these messy girls. They will all probably be in London Bridge, Soho, Camden, Hackney, Shoreditch, not even in Clapham that much. No. Why? Because they don't survive. I mean, their style doesn't survive a 9-to-5 corporate world. And, it's just a uniform of those who can afford to look like they don't care. And here comes another observation. To look accidental, you actually need to spend a fortune on vintage shopping. Have you seen the price tags in the Brick Lane or any other vintage shops in London? It's not cheap at all. Like it's very outdated to assume that you can save money on vintage shopping rather than going to the shopping malls. Shoreditch isn't the place for finds anymore. It's for £200 jacket that smells like 1994, even though I never lived in 1994. But money apart, I also think that most people agree with me that messy girls tend to work in creative artsy fields such as fashion, content creation, and so on. And most of them, let's be honest, they also come from quite wealthy backgrounds. And, for them, it's just a costume of common people. If we look at popular messy girls such as Siki Waterhouse or Cara Delevingne or Helena Bonham Carter, they come from wealthy backgrounds. And that may be the reason why they look so cool while being messy. And another reason, I think, like psychological reason of them doing this is that posh and clean does not look relatable anymore to masses. And if you want to be liked, then you have to present yourself in a different way. And the messy girl aesthetic is one of the best choices for that. It feels warmer, it feels more human, it feels more relatable again. So be careful. Sometimes it's just the illusion of accessibility. Here's the part no one wants to admit. This aesthetic, this whole messy girl thing, is heavily curated by male gaze. Look at Alexa Chung or Kate Moss, American model Gabriette, who's one of the main messy girls icons. They've become way more popular after or by dating this cool bad boys, usually musicians or like frontmen. So they represent their style, their messy style, represent type of girls who are ready to discuss the existential crisis at 3 a.m. and who wear this messy hair and smudged makeup all the time, which is heavily sexualized by men. And because they seem to represent rockstar girlfriends, like rockstar muses, I think for young girls it may look especially attractive because they want to be liked by boys, especially by cool boys who didn't want to be rockstar muse when they were a teenager. The fact that messy girls usually very often paired with cool bad boys make young girls want to be seen broken, to look more interesting for this particular boys. And I think it's quite toxic because they're unstable, they're not cool. And all the thing about male gaze and men includes bad habits, popularization of bad habits among girls. I thought we lost it and left it in 90s. However, I can see if you go to Pinterest and just type in messy girl aesthetic, you 100% see women with cigarettes, women who half drunk, smoking. I don't know about you, just share your opinions in the comments, but I don't think that smoking or drinking a lot should be a fashion statement in 2026. But maybe it's just a sign of crisis. Economic crisis. I'm not sure. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, narrow representation. If you go again to see references of messy girl aesthetics, you notice that most of them are white, conventionally pretty, and very slim girls, like Kate Moss again, Lily Rose Depp, and all of them are very thin. And if you're thin and with high cheekbones, anything will look good on you. Even messiness will look stylish and fashionable. Of course, yes. But if you're curvy or like you're not fitting into the standard, the same clothes honestly sometimes looks ridiculous on me, for instance. You should have really good sense of style, fashion sense to fit in this. And before you're doing that, you should ask yourself, do you actually need this? Because like any aesthetic, when it becomes mainstream, it becomes quite toxic and you feel the need to follow it, and it has many copycats. But the original point of messy was to highlight your authenticity. And I think you should really remember that. It was created so you could not hide your exhaustion of the life in the big city anymore. And when you spend hours and hours on the look that gives I don't care, and if your messiness becomes a curated project, there is no point. That's when you've fallen into the trap. All in all, what I wanted to say, you don't have to be messy to be cool. In 2026, the real luxury is clean hair. Yes, I said that. Clear mind and honesty to be yourself. Do not let a trend dictate how broken and destroyed you have to look to be interesting for other people. Is it only me, or everyone gets so many recommendations in their feed about messy girl aesthetic, and it actually becomes really annoying now? So please let me know what you think about my points about this video. And also, one thing I was really wondering about is it only London or like big cities that messy girl aesthetic is spreading in, or the place where you live? Is it the same? Is it very common, and do you see these messy girls around, or is it only on Pinterest for you? Yeah, please share your opinions in the comments, like, share, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. See you soon.